Big Mac.
Me and our kid out in the Catalan, having some
Hey,
beers.
it's Ali.
At the stadium. Woo!
The Brothers Metcalf.
This is proper Brothers Metcalf. In the, I'll show you in the old. So there's a supporters club bar where you meet to get taken in, and the guy literally tries to line up shots and get you pissed and all that. So this is the Castellon supporters club bar, as you will see. Bit of Leeds United going on there. This ball here, you write your name on it and everything. There's, where is he? I can't find him now. They're all very friendly, mate. They're proper lovers, mate, coming all the way out this way. So I don't know if I can turn my camera around, but there's all the scarves there. Leeds United scarf in this fucking bar in the middle of nowhere in Spain. It's actually a much bigger place than you think. And then on the back here, I know it's a bit dark, but LUFC flag with Pablo, number 19. I've just been in the club shop and spent a fortune on kids' shirts and all that. So it's amazing. So all the locals are very friendly. Lovers coming out to see Pablo. I think we're all fucking nuts. This lad here, look. Scusi. Show me your shirt. This lad here's got Pablo's signature on the back of his shirt, this young Spanish chap here. He's very proud of it. He's brought up in the same barrio as, the same space as, the same place, barrio as Pablo, so he grew up with him. So they're all dead proud of him, love him to bits. Kids love him. It's all good, man.
Weather's cracking as well.
Weather's cracking. It was raining for 2 days, mate, but today's absolutely bang on. So, yeah, so we travelled from Valencia this morning. This afternoon we had a nice paella in a square in Valencia, and then headed up here on the train this afternoon and just got checked in at the hotel and a couple of beers, and we're going to go into the ground in a bit. And there should be some lads from some other lads from Leeds out here who we met last night who were.
Oh, really? There's quite a few other Leeds lads then.
Yeah, so we met some lads. Well, we met Martin, obviously. We should give a mention to, really. So Martin's kind of organised and helped us coordinate a lot of the stuff that we've done to get out here. And I think he's El Mukifat on Twitter. Yeah. Great lad. We met him last night at the Torres de Serrano in Valencia, and there was another, was it 8 or 9 lads? 8 lads from all Leeds fans. To say we had a few beers last night would be understating it. Martin sent me a tweet this morning saying, "Ouch, I'm broke." He's like, "That hurts. You've absolutely broken me." So, you know, we brought the Leeds out here and we drink, don't we? We have a drink. So he's been out in Valencia for quite a few years. So he's got like that continental style of drinking where we just absolutely smashed it last night. So a bit of samba music. So yeah, it's all good, man. They think we're absolutely nuts. We went into the shop today, and Pablo's sister works in the club shop in the centre of Castellon, and it's quite like accepted now that there's going to be a contingent from Leeds that come, but it's still sort of like, I was speaking to Martin last night, and he's like, "Can you think of another player where anybody made a pilgrimage to go and watch him?" And our kid was saying, like, it's because it's in Valencia. If it was in, like, you know, Uzbekistan or somewhere else, maybe Poznan, or probably won't bother. But fantastic, mate. We've had a fantastic weekend. Great couple of days. Valencia's a beautiful city. Really had a really great time. I ate some fantastic foods. Barney, you'd have loved it, mate. We went to a market and sat in this restaurant in the market.
I've heard about this market, yeah. That sounds fantastic.
The central market. The central market's got like a restaurant where you just sit at like almost a shelf. Stokesy is here. Look, Ben Stokes is all the way out here as well. Look. Mad, isn't it? Ben Stokes is here. Look.
Hey.
So yeah. So there's a few Leeds out here, mate, and they think we're nuts. So what else do you want to know, lads? You fire away.
Brilliant.
So you're not planning on going to see Alioski then in Saudi Arabia?
Possibly not, though. Only on the grounds of moral. You know, I'm not into Saudi Arabia, but yeah. The next one, boys, has got to be if Bielsa gets the Newell's job. I think that's the next one. But this is fantastic, man. I recommend anybody to come out. The people treat you so well, and obviously they're really proud that you come all this way to watch Pablo. Who's like the son of the city, so really proud. His lovers Laves.
What's the area like in the ground then?
So Laves means keys in Spanish. So he's basically gives you the keys to the. Give it to my brother. Just getting past programs by some of the locals. Bought us a program, so yeah, do it. Dos, Howard, get another one. Get Dos, old boy.
Captivating YouTube here.
Get me one as well. Oh, you got
Hey, Dos.
Oh, he's got Dos. So yeah, Dos Mas. I've learnt that one. That's 2 more. I wonder where I learnt that for. Dos cerveza, por favor, and Dos Mas, which means 2 more. Just get me 2 more of them, lad. So fire away. What do you want to know?
Castellon tonight then. The game starts in, 50 minutes?
Yeah, 9 o'clock kick-off here, so about 50 minutes against Algeciras, I think you pronounce it. My Spanish isn't great, as you've probably worked out. So yeah, apparently tough game. I think they're in about 7th, so just outside the playoffs. They've had a bit of a drop of Castellon, so they were on the brink of the playoffs themselves and have had sort of fallen away the last few games. But then again, they're only, I think, 3 points off 6th or 7th themselves, so they're in 12th, I think. Better stay away from these. You know what I like when I get near the place. Carrying on in a minute.
So, not worth it, Ewan.
Yeah, it's a big game, I think. What's up, mate?
It's not worth it. He's not worth it, Ewan.
No, leave it. Leave it, mate. I'll hold your coat. Yeah, brilliant, man. It's been a really really brilliant thing to do, and I encourage any Leeds fans that are listening and watching to do the same. And like I say, there was a few Leeds fans. We had a good night out last night with a few Leeds fans. It was brilliant, and doing tequila shots and having a few beers, and can't wait to. I think Pablo's playing tonight as well, and then we're going to meet him after the game. So we've got to coordinate it where when the game finishes, you wait around for half an hour, and then you go to the players' entrance, and they take you in. There's a guy called Alberto you've got to be friendly with, and he kind of gets you in where nobody else can. Reaches the parts that other Albertos can't.
The Spanish sticks.
You got
I was just going to say that,
yeah. Exactly. He's like the sticked equivalent of Castellon. So he's going to get us in and to meet Pablo. And I've got all the Roaring Peacock stuff to sign. I've got a couple of shirts that my kids wanted signing. And hopefully I'll get him to do a little short video, just saying hello to all the Roaring Peacocks and the watchers and the viewers. So see how we get on. I'm trying to stay relatively sober because I don't want to meet him and be like, Pablo, and pick him up and give him a bear hug and
fucking love you, Pablo.
Get rugby tackled to the floor. Yeah, get rugby tackled to the floor by the security and his dad and stuff. But the whole family's involved. Mar Garcia, Sergio's sister, his wife, obviously is involved in sort of some of the stuff, and his sister works in the club shop. His dad's kind of around him a lot, so amazing.
Love that, mate.
What's the capacity of the ground then?
Say again?
What's the capacity of the ground?
You know what the capacity is? Is it about 15? It's about 15, I think. I think they get regularly get about 12,000. I think its capacity is probably a little bit more than that. So yeah, it's intriguing really, because kind of you come here. I don't know the area at all. I mean, I've not been to Valencia. Castellon's obviously you're sort of told it's a bit of a backwater and very Spanish, and nobody really speaks English, but it's actually quite a big place, and you can sort of see the fervour building up around the game tonight. All the guys are out, as you can see here, in the shirts and having a drink. So it's kind of more busy than I thought. There's a load down the street here, all having a drink with the shirts on. But it's a beautiful night for football, mate. I tell you what, it beats a cold, rainy Tuesday night in Leeds. And hopefully Castellon get a result tonight and push on maybe into the playoff places.
Fantastic. Well, cheers, Mark. Thanks for calling in.
I've got an appointment with Laves to get some more beers. So it's obviously difficult for me to I can't hear a great deal, and there's a music booming out from the stadium. But I thought I'd better drop in and just say hello and
nice one.
Give you all my love, and hopefully I'll catch up with you when I get back. Because you'll be in England soon, won't you, Donny?
I will, and we'll all be together in the same room, and that'll be an experience. I'll be able to
Amazing.
smell
So-
you.
Well, that's very strange. Do you want to sniff me, my friend? We've known each other quite a long time virtually, and if the first thing you want to do is smell my hair, I'm fine with that.
Give our best to Pablo, mate.
Hey, listen,
Take care,
when I see
mate.
him, I'll
And all the best
definitely
to
try and get-
Howie as well. Have a great
Howie's here.
have a
Say
great
bye,
time.
See you, boys. See you, boys. See you, lads. Hey, he's spilled his beer everywhere. Brilliant. Say bye, Stokesy.
Adios.
See you, Stokes. Good luck with the cricket.
Yeah, good luck with the cricket, he says, yeah. So we were sat in the bar last night doing a Sean Dyche, actually. Everybody had to look like a Leeds player, but he looked so much like Ben Stokes that he got called Stokesy all night. So, yeah, it's been brilliant, lads. And, yeah, I thought I'd drop in and say hello. I'll let you get on with the show now because you know I've got a lot to talk about. And keep you posted on how things go throughout the evening.
Cheers, Mac.
Take
Thanks,
care, mate.
All right, man.
Great to see
Take
you,
care.
both. Cheers.
Adios. Adios, amigos. Ciao, ciao.
There we go.
That's awesome, wasn't it? Awesome.
Yeah. I feel weird being over here. Hang on. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Well, welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast. We talk about Leeds United, and my name is Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. It's very good hello from me, and joining us is Barney from the internet,
Oi, oi.
husband of the head teacher,
I know. Yeah.
Mrs.
Amazing.
Mrs. Barney.
Yeah. Had a bit of a tear in my eye when she told me. Fantastic news.
Yeah, very well deserved by the sound of it. At Barney LUFC21 if you want to follow Barney's nonsense. Now, loads to talk about in the next half hour.
And it is a lot of nonsense.
And food photos, obviously. Crystal Palace 0, Leeds United 0. Injuries, impact versus otherwise. Rafinha's done an interview. Marsch has brought the belief back. Apparently, he was very quick to say, not that we didn't have belief under Bielsa. The under 23s are playing tonight. In fact, Archie Gray's 1-on-1. And it's a good save by the Arsenal goalkeeper. So we'll keep you updated on that. Still 0-0. We're going to play Man City, obviously, which easy win, I would have thought.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
And
be good.
and Matt Letitia said some interesting things. So if we get time, we'll talk about that. But I wanted to start.
Wow.
I wanted to start because we've had a voicemail from one of you, one of our fans, one of our lovely listeners. So please let me know if this works, Barney, if you can hear something.
Evening, lads. Right, I want to start by apologising, first of all, for giving you the worst collective of insults you've ever had in the entire time of doing the podcast, as that was not my intention, but in hindsight I can see it. But then also want to say thank you for mentioning me in the podcast, because I was pottering around my garden on Sunday listening to it, and it absolutely made my day. I was over the moon, so thanks for that. But you said you got to give as good as you can take, so I thought I'd give you the opportunity to listen to my voice, and if you want, you can build an image up in your mind of what I sound like, or look like even, from what I sound like, and if you want, you can have a little game, insult me all you want, and I'll send you a picture, if you just want to ignore it, and leave me out of all future podcasts, I fully understand, but hell, I thought I'd reply. But yeah, love the show, guys. Thank you.
So there you go.
I've got an image of a bald guy.
Bold,
Bald.
old, short,
I won't
and
say,
chubby.
I won't. How does he know what height I am when I'm sat on a chair? Or has he seen me and he's not come up to me at a game?
Maybe.
I mean, I'm 5'11". I'm not tall, but I'm not short either.
I would say, I would also say that you wouldn't have to do much research to find out what we look like because we give out our Twitter handles every single pod.
I am chubby though. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Oh dear. That was Demit. Dremit, sorry. DREMMETT. I won't give you any more information because then open source intelligence will get on the case. And so just let us know what you think he looks like. Tall, skinny, blonde hair, Peter Crouch maybe? Or maybe like a 80s handlebar mustache.
He sounded like he was from Cass area, I'd say. So that does broaden it a lot, really, because Castleford, it's another place.
Certainly is that. A few of your comments. Gail Dale, hi guys. Hello. Matt Games says hi. Gail says love Spain. What? Big Mac on tour, says Bandit. Indeed, it was lovely to see Mac in Valencia and Castellon. He's going to see Pablo for us and get some Roaring Peacock artwork signed. Geldale, we go every February for a few weeks. 23% lovely sunshine. Very nice. Gordon White says, good evening, fellas. Ewan having a great time. And Stephen Turner, loving it. Big Mac. Incredible how Ewan just blends in with the locals. Looks very Spanish, does Ewan? I've always said it.
It's the Italian in him, isn't it? It's
Matt Games, love from Australia. Hi guys, of course, Leeds going on tour in Australia.
Don't mention that.
Right, Philip Dickinson, which is I always feel is a very unfortunate last name. Why have two City fans hijacked the channel? We're both in sky blue, which I didn't even think about. We are playing City tomorrow, aren't we? Okay, Crystal Palace versus Leeds United. Not a classic.
It wasn't pretty at all, was it? It really wasn't. Things to take out from it. We didn't look like we were going to concede. I mean, towards the end, Eland managed to save a couple. But other than that, we looked okay. Highlight was the Rafinha throw-in to Click to Cooper, for Cooper to do some sort of wild back heel, and for Dallas to nearly score. I thought was a fantastic move. But it just wasn't pretty at all. It was just, apparently we had 62% possession or something ridiculous, but it just felt like we were giving the ball back all the time. We just didn't want the ball.
Yeah, that was the problem, wasn't it? For me, like it was flow. Very nice. What are you drinking?
It's this one here. Everyone keeps going on about. It's quite nice, actually.
Okay. Madri Excepcional.
I've just put Carlin in it, really, just to make me look posh.
two sips, couldn't stand it, poured it out.
Where's that
filled the bottle
brew?
Oh dear. Flow. That's something that sports people, analysts talk about a lot, isn't it? It's where you kind of you don't think, but you kind of forget yourself, and everything moves in a rhythm, automatic, like muscle memory, isn't it? That's what I felt was lacking, is that we had obviously these passing drills under Marcelo for like 3 years, just absolutely ingrained into us, and now we're in different positions on the pitch, so we've got to kind of think about every pass.
it felt like during the game, I think it's happened before as well in games where the players seem to go back into muscle memory and go to the man marking system, and when you're trying to do the Marsch system at the same time, it all becomes a little bit erratic, a little bit crazy, and it's not quite working. And Marsch says he likes it controlled aggression, and sometimes against Palace we saw players doing one thing and players doing another thing as well. I think the take from me as well is that people have thought that this high ball, this long ball system is what we're going to be playing, and it's the last few games is not how Marsch wants to play at all. Everyone keeps going about this narrow system, which it is a narrow system, but we will use width when needed as well. But I think that the fact that we're more narrow now is that we're better defensively as well. It's a very mix match. Is that the right word? Of football at the moment, and I can see in parts of the game what we're trying to do. In other parts of the game, I'm not too sure. Sometimes Cooper was getting frustrated because he had the ball and he wanted to play it out, and there didn't seem to be any movement up front. And I feel really sorry for James because James is not a forward. He's great at pressing, and he's a little bastard sometimes as well, which I love. With when he's went on Ward, but it's just not. It's not working with the system we want to play and the fast football we want to play. James is not the person to be on the end of that at all.
No, for me, James, I think he could turn out to be a bit like Joel Linton. You know, Joel Linton, this £40 million forward that was bought, suddenly converted into a defensive midfielder and has really great stats for that position. And I think James could be I mean, he'd need to get better at tackling, because somebody's put it here actually. Love Dan James. Car crash of a tackle, says Matt Gaines.
I loved it. The fact that Ward got up, and James is like one of those little kids when you were at school. He used to do something and then pretend he hadn't done anything. He literally looked at Dan. He literally looked at Ward like, "What? What have I done? What?" I just love his like being innocent. Like, I've not done anything. Just getting the ball.
There is pragmatism about being solid and being difficult to beat, and not attacking at all costs, and all costs being losing by at least 3 goals. And I think if you look at the goal difference, that has cost us massively. And there are certain games where, especially if you don't have this thing that we're talking about, so flow, moving forward, quick passes, players know exactly where the other players are, moving to space, attacking numbers, overload their defense. If you don't have any of that, and some days you just don't for whatever reason, because it's a team game. So if you have 3 or 4 players who are just out of form, which happens, they're not robots, then you have to make sure that you don't concede and that you're difficult to beat. And, Palace were no mugs. They beat Arsenal 3-0 and they drew 0-0 with Man City. Those were the previous 2 home games before they played us. So, I mean, I think we've done quite well to come away from London with a point.
And also, we're unbeaten in 5, which in this league is a pretty fantastic achievement considering the position we are as well. And for me, it's the controlled aggression that Marsch keeps going on about. We see we are aggressive sometimes, but it's just we need to don't look at the game and think, right, this is I'd hate to say it, but Marsch ball. It isn't. Just think about the position we're in as well. And it was interesting. Marsch said in his press conference on Thursday, he says, "I want to play more attacking football, but at the moment, the position we're in, I can't do that. I can't implement all my plans. My first objective was to shore up the defence, and that's what he's doing. But it's going to take time to get his vision into place and how we want to attack as well.
Yeah, and I think that Marsch is exactly the kind of guy that Leeds fans would have loved as a player. Very aggressive, hard tackling, competitive, a leader on the pitch, and he was a defensive midfielder as well. And if you think about Billy Bremner, David Batty, Calvin Phillips, these are exactly the kind of players that we love. So I mean, if you could imagine or build a kind of perfect manager to be taken into the hearts of Leeds fans, then it would be a working class lad who became a defensive midfielder and worked hard. Maybe not blessed with incredible skill. Now I've got another concept kit here. What do we think of that, Barnes? This is a tweet by David at Dave MKIV. Come on, LUFC. We've had enough bad away kits. I think it's about time we got a blue or yellow one. And it's an absolute monstrosity. Macron kit manufacturer, Socios.com, the main sponsor, and you've got the Gaviscon Leeds badge. So I just thought I'd lighten the mood up with.
Well, the Socio thing is quite interesting because they're wanting to get rid of gambling companies, aren't they, on sponsorship, and that's apparently what Liverpool are going to go down the route of using crypto.
Okay. I did read an article. There's a great article on The Athletic. Other sources of news are available about Socios this morning, and it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So I think it's 30 or 40% of Socio fan token owners live in Turkey, and the Turkish currency is fluctuating badly and losing value. And so a lot of people in Turkey have been looking into other means of securing their savings, and one of them is obviously cryptocurrency. And so a lot of these investors in fan tokens they're not fans, obviously, and the speculators on Chili's, and obviously every single fan token for every team has lost value.
It just feels like it's built on sand a little bit, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's worthless. It's like NFTs. As soon as people realize that there's no value in them, or that they can't eat them, they can't drink them, you can't pay for anything with them,
or you can't hold it, something to hold. Yeah.
But we rattled the Palace fans. We rattled them to an extent.
Strange,
I mean, it was
strange lot.
Yeah, incredibly strange lot. I mean, we've had the gnome fella on. If you're unaware, there's a YouTuber, Crystal Palace YouTuber, and he's got a gnome as part of his YouTube setup. It's very strange. They're a weird fan base, aren't they? I mean, from the drum, or is it a tin pot that they're banging?
Those ultras. It's pathetic. It really is. I heard somewhere it's basically just a few lads that think they're ultras, but they're not proper ultras at all. They're probably from a middle class family in London.
Mm-hmm.
Thought, we're going to go to football. Let's set up an ultras, and that drum would do my head in as well. Hearing that all game, but it was funny because we started doing the wacko chant, and then you could actually hear that over the drum.
Right.
That's stuff like the thing is though with the ultras in Italy and Germany, it's proper. It feels real. But this sort of stuff that's coming over to England now, it feels all a little bit manufactured because we want to get our atmosphere going, and it just feels a little bit fake to me.
Like, so I've lived in Vienna for the last 7 years now. So I've been to Rapid Vienna games, and I've generally been in the West Block, which is where the ultras are. And it's a bit like, in Gladiator or something, where the barbarians they've got their face painted and they're G'ing each other up and they're screaming into each other's faces. There's something very bloodlust about it. There's something very visceral, like they are going to war, like it's and I don't get that vibe with the Palace fans.
No, it's just
there is a meme. There's a meme on Twitter, and it's like making fun of the ultras. We're Palace, and that's the way we like it. We like it.
Yeah. It's just very false, but it's the impression I get from Premier League fans. They'll lose their heads over anything, and then obviously it's just on social media. But it felt very much like when we used to criticise Grealish for Villa, the Villa fans would probably search Grealish all the time on Twitter, and then you wouldn't even have to use the Villa hashtag. But as soon as we criticised Zaha, and also Phillips saying that he dives a lot, there was a big thread on this is where Zaha was fouled here, and some of them were pathetic. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like neither team produced enough quality to score a goal or be in a position where they could be denied a goal scoring opportunity through bad refereeing. I just thought that all of the incidents that they were talking about were just in the middle of the pitch, in the middle of a game that was pretty dire, really. And I just don't understand why anyone would get that worked up about it. I mean, they're pretty much on the beach already. And when we played Villa a few seasons ago now in the Championship, I remember Grealish diving so many times. But I mean, when Grealish does it, it's his hair flops down. There's a whole dramatism to it.
Well,
He was one
of the most fouled players, wasn't he? I don't know if he was in the Premier League or the Championship, but Zaha this season is one of the most fouled players. And Zaha is a good player, he is, but he couldn't quite make it at Man United, and then he came back to Crystal Palace, and Palace fans adore him because everyone says he's like Palace through and through, but it just doesn't seem happy. It's just not happy. Yeah, he's just not happy. He's just got a face on him all the time.
It's a voodoo. It looks like a voodoo doll. He's tried to leave the club several times for big money moves to Arsenal. I think there was talk of scum at some point. I don't see how he's Palace through and through. No, I'm not buying that. I mean, come on. Talking about rumours to scum, Phillips. I've seen today that a Daily Mail journalist, I'm using that term lightly, I guess, has quashed rumours saying that Phillips would never go to Manchester United because of the rivalry between the two clubs.
And by sounds of it, it's just done a copy and paste of what Phil's article was the other day as well. Basically, all his family absolutely hates scum because obviously the Leeds alliance, and you know what Premier League Twitter's like. It's pathetic sometimes, and a lot of Man United fans straight, he'll come. But have they not learned that when they've spent a fortune on players, it's not going to fix the problem? Some players have actually crashed and burned when they've gone there.
And on that tweet today, talking about football Twitter, they were all like, "Oh, good. Don't want him anyway." I mean, journalistic integrity. We could have avoided all of that by just doing literally 30 seconds research and realizing, big rivalry between Leeds and Manchester United, and Phillips would never ever go there. Gail Dale making a very great point in the comments. Smash the like button, yes please, and subscribe. That would be fantastic. We did very well to get the draw, but I don't like it, says Bandy. I am terrified as to our fate, and if we go down, I don't think Marsch will get us back up. That's that famous Leeds optimism, which we all share. Thought ref did well, says Gail. That was the other thing as well, is that that's what I didn't understand about Palace, other than them being tin pot and gnome shaggers. Is that refereeing performance was really good. It was one of the better refereeing performances I've seen in the Premier League. He let a lot go. He wasn't fooled by diving, as Ewan said. He managed it well. The game never really got out of control. Once again, anybody that comes up here and doesn't like and subscribe, we will come round and let down your tyres, says Bandy. There you go. Just to be clear, I won't personally be doing that. But sounds like Bandy's on the case. Thank you, Bandy. What can we expect for half of the marriage pact derby? I'm so confused, Nova. And Gail Dale, Carragher said he thought Bremner and Giles were back in our midfield. Said he loved it. Biggest compliment he could pay us. Yeah, that appetite for the fight was back, I thought.
Yeah, I think that everyone loved Leeds because of the way we were playing football under Bielsa, and the way we approached the game as well with the players, and we didn't want to fall over and stuff like that. But Marsch seems to have got the nasty side back into us again. There was some bits where if I was an opposition fan, I wouldn't really like it, but the players are in players' ears. I mean, Rafinha, it was Ward again. Rafinha was just eyeballing Ward when he was taking the throw in, and there's players in the ref's ears as well. And yeah, it's not nice. It's not a nice part of the game, but unfortunately, that's how the game works, and that's how you will get some decisions as well. That's how you play the game.
Yep. Speaking of which, we're going to break the record for the most yellow cards. We will have that record with pride. We are Dirty Leeds, says Matt Games. And
on that point, we were never a dirty side under Bielsa. But do you think this season the reason why we've had so many yellow cards is because the players were getting frustrated with how they were getting smashed most weeks and letting goals in first and getting frustrated how they couldn't win their individual duels?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no smoke without fire, and people have said that they don't believe the stories about senior players talking to Bielsa and asking to maybe just make a few tweaks to the system. And I said it at the time, I would be very, very surprised if that didn't happen. You can't concede 3 goals every game and be happy about it. Nobody can, and it doesn't matter sort of the legacy or the icon status, the legend that gives almost like a gravity to Bielsa. You got disciples orbiting him, including many of us. But even so, you just can't enjoy getting beat that much, and nobody is good enough to not make some tweaks and changes and adapt things. And Bielsa he'd been at Leeds the longest from anywhere that he'd ever been in charge of, and I think that maybe that lack of experience at being involved at a place for so long cost him in the end, because you do have to make little adjustments. Right, Man City. So we've got some ideas of how to set up tactically. Here's Chris at Chris_CD2010. My lineup for Saturday. Did I miss anything? And if you're listening on the podcast, basically it's 11 players parking the bus in front of our goal, and 10, sorry, and then Rafinha just on the halfway line looking for the outball. I've done one as well. This is my preferred formation. There you go. You can do that on the BBC. Meslier in goal. It's a 5-4-1. I've got Ayling, Llorente, Creswell. It would be Cooper and Stroud, but you couldn't pick Cooper on the app. Click, Phillips, Koch, and Dallas in midfield, and Rafinha up front. There you go. And this is my preferred Man City 11. It's basically as many under 23s as I could fit in.
But they're probably just as good as well, though, aren't they?
They were pretty good the other night against the under 23s. It's going to be difficult, isn't it? It's going to be very difficult.
I don't know. You know me. I've got this optimism all the time. I've just got a feeling that we might get something. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I'm not at the game tomorrow, unfortunately, because my stepbrother decided to get married, and every game that I've missed, it's either been a thriller. The last season in the Championship, we were 2-0 down at Millwall. We beat them 3-2.
Great game, that one. That was when LUFC Lewis was filming it, and I think somebody screamed, just fucking score! And then we did.
There was the Brighton game when under Monk, and we beat them 2-1. Chris Wood header, or I think Kyle Bartley scored as well at the same game. So there's been some games where I've missed and we've played really well, and won games where you wouldn't have thought we'd win. The thing is, a lot of people are looking back at when we got absolutely annihilated away at the Etihad. I think it's
awful
a complete
game, that wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just felt upset because at the end of the game, there was Bielsa just literally stood in the middle of the pitch, looked silent with his arms crossed.
You know, one of those nature shows, right? Nature programs where there's like a predator and another animal that they prey on, and like a deer or whatever.
Yeah.
Cantaloupe, or I can't remember what they're called. You know those deers that they've got weird horns. Yeah. Anyway, and they a few lions attack them at the same time, and then they at some point they just give up. Yeah, that's what I felt like. Yeah,
it was just one goal went in, the next goal went in, and then it went in again. I was like, oh god, this
too
is
easy.
It was just far too easy. It was. I know the cliche is men among boys, but it was literally. It did feel like that. I think
boys against women's teams. sorry.
You know that's going to get cut now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't think we're going to get that game. Well, I'm hoping we're not going to get that game at home because we are a lot more tighter. I mean, Marsch has already played against Pep when he was at Leipzig. He lost 6-3. But he said that was individual mistakes and also mistakes by him from his tactics as well. I don't know. There's just something about. I know it sounds corny, but Ellen Road as well it's a 3-day weekend, 5:30 kickoff. Everyone's going to be absolutely smacked off the tits for the game, which is just going to be rowdy. The Man City players probably haven't. Some of them haven't experienced what Ellen Road is like, especially with a crowd. I just think that could be a big difference for us as well.
0-0, wasn't it? Oh no, 1-1, wasn't it, last season at Ellen Road? I don't think we've lost at home in the Premier League since 2000, something like that.
Right.
Not that it makes any difference at all.
Those stats, they don't mean anything, do they? The last time a striker scored in the 5th minute against City, we beat them or something. It doesn't. What do they actually mean, those stats, though? They don't actually mean anything, do they? It's not like a scientific stat.
Right. 5th of September 2000, there we go. Leeds have not lost a Premier League home game against Man City since 2-1 defeat. So we haven't played them during their during their pomp. Antelope. Cantaloupe is a type of melon, says Nova. You know when a melon gets attacked by several lions?
And then all of a sudden he's like in segments.
Stay away from the game, for God's sake. Barney. There you go, Barney.
That's probably about right, actually, yeah.
Roaring Peacocks, Barney Army, says Bandy. Galedale, maybe a point against Chelsea, 2 or 3 points, and Everton would need to win 3 games. Good running though. It is squeaky bum time, isn't it? Right, and some predictions. So get your predictions in the chat. 1-0. Liam Cooper header from a Rafinha long throw, says Matt Games.
Yeah, that'll be in front of the cop, and then Cooper goes like that. Come on! Like that. Be nice. That, yeah. Got a vision there.
2-0 City, I'm afraid. 5-game run without losing comes to an end, says Gail. Realism. That's one thing that we didn't talk about. Rafinha's long throws. I know that Marsch said that he won a competition. It's not my favourite. Not my favourite. Putting probably your best player on throw-ins. And were the long throws really that long?
It was basically
short.
It was into the box, wasn't it? I know a lot of people kicked off about it and like, why are we playing this? This is Dyche ball. But during the time that Bielsa was at the club, and I don't want to keep going on about him, but the amount of times we were saying why we're not doing anything on our set pieces, we should be doing. And it is a very English mentality about call. I mean, every time a ball goes out and it's a corner, you celebrate like we've scored a goal sometimes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's literally that, isn't it? But sometimes it is part of the game, those set pieces. And Marsch even mentioned on Thursday in his press conference that we are looking at throw-ins and things like that. Even Liverpool have a throwing coach. So, and when he said a throwing coach,
you say it like even Liverpool, like one of the best teams in the world, man.
No, but you think a team like Liverpool have got a throwing coach.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine that throwing coach when he gets in from work and the wife says, "How was your day?" "Oh, well, it was a tough one with the throw-ins today. They just can't get it." Oh, yeah. Oh.
Put my biceps on ice, would you, love?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, there's a lot of repetitive training in football, but a throwing coach, it's not about the throwing itself, it's about the position of where the players are on the pitch, isn't it? But it's a part of the game that people are using now, and it's nothing wrong. During the 70s and 80s and 90s, sometimes the throw-ins were fantastic, and there's the Rory to lap and things, weren't there, from some Stoke? So there's no issue from it, in my point of view. If we score 5 goals in that season, yeah,
third of goals from set pieces.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
there you go. It's answered.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe throw-in shoulder will be the new tennis elbow.
And then we're going to have to get the towels out, aren't we, on the side of the pitch? He's got the towel. It's going to be a long throw-in.
Right, yeah.
That used to be the tactic for Rory to lap, didn't it, with the ball? The ball boy used to give the towel to him.
And then
it was going to be a long one in.
There'll be like personal towels, and you'll have the towel man who'll be the new kit man, and it'll be like bowling ball, like how they do with bowling balls, and it's
actually we might be onto something here because of the 49ers. Don't American footballers have a towel on the back in the belt or something? So the 49ers, and then you know what Andre is like, he'll say we need to get some advertisement on those towels. It's on TV.
Yeah,
so there'll be something
microfiber ones.
Yeah, there'll be yeah.
New technology. There'll be like the sock tags as well. The players will throw them to the kids. They'll smell them and throw them to the kids.
make a fortune here.
Get Trevelyan on that. Gale Dale, Raf Delap special. I'm not sure what some of these comments mean, to be honest. Surprised no one has hired Rory Delap. There you go. Who was that lad who used to do? He'd do a forward flip and then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him. Yeah.
I mean, I have noticed with Liverpool throw-ins, they almost throw it like this, both hands like behind the back of the ball. And I did read somewhere that retaining possession from a throw-in is the most important thing that you can do. It's the best result that you can do. Very rarely are you going to get sort of javelin throwers. Okay, so Man City score prediction.
You go first.
1-1 or 2-1 Leeds. Or 5-0 City. There's my predictions. I've covered it all. No, I think it'll be tighter. I think they'll have a point to prove. I think, as whatever they say, City will be a little bit jet lagged from that Madrid game, and of course they played Liverpool a few times recently. I think twice the week before. So, and they've got Champions League coming up. How much motivation? How much do they have in the tank? Oh God, this is the sort of thing. I'm glad we don't have a bigger reach. To be honest, this is the sort of thing they put on the dressing. Pep would put on the dressing room, isn't it? How much do they have? Surely they won't be able to do it.
The thing is, though, they still need to keep ahead of Liverpool, don't they? That's the what they're only 1 point ahead of Liverpool. They need a win as much as we need a win as well. So you never know if they are open. We
could
maybe
crack the title race wide open.
Yeah, we could be that team that hands it to Liverpool and all the Liverpool fans love us again. You never know.
Did they love? Oh, they did love us in late 60s, wasn't it? Yeah, and that reminds me of that'll always remind me of that Hasselbank goal against Arsenal. I think, was it 99? Maybe. Was it 99 or 98?
99, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
So we basically handed Scum the chance of the treble. Anyway, we handed Scum the title basically by beating Arsenal, and it's like that Twitter profile, "Watch People Die Inside," which if you haven't seen, you should check out. A few of your predictions. Napa says 0-0. Gail says 2-0 City, but she would love a draw. His name was Zebedee. Right. Tranmere Rovers, Dave Challinor had a mighty throw-in. Oh, we're talking about the throw-in specialist, and they're a little bit better than us, says Gail. Right. Letitia. It's 1-0 to Arsenal under 23s, by the way. So looking like Leeds under 23s could get relegated today. Here is the quote. Letitia goes much further. For example, when I put to him that we're all responding at the start of the pandemic to images from Bergamo, of course in northern Italy, of hospitals overwhelmed by gasping, dying patients. Matt Letitia replied, "Some of those were actors, by the way." According to him, ventilators caused harm to patients. PCR tests were entirely responsible for elevating a flu bug into a pandemic. Masks a sign not of precaution but of weak compliance. If you think otherwise, you haven't really done your research. Without wishing to sound rude, he says. He claims to have read many scientific papers, including those which were suppressed. PCR tests were the biggest fraud ever perpetrated on mankind. The biggest fraud ever perpetrated upon mankind. Strong words from Matt Letitia.
It's just. I've just tweeted about it. I think it's scary, really. I mean, we all laugh at him about what he's saying and some of his conspiracy theories and recent one about Ukraine. But it's dangerous because of the following he's got on Twitter, and people are clinging on to what he's saying now. He's an ex-footballer. Anyone can read a scientific paper, but if you don't actually know what certain bits in those papers mean,
Do you think he's being handed secret scientific papers that are being suppressed?
Well, the thing is though, if he's on that side of, I don't want to go down that road, but the anti-vax and wearing a mask and stuff like that, if he's going to go down that road, there's going to be other people that have taken that road as well, high up in the medical world, and they're going to feed him with stuff as well. And during lockdown and stuff like that, I started watching some of this like really batshit crazy stuff, and to see what people are wondering, and it's honestly scary. I mean, I watched a video, and it was someone talking about the new lights in and the antennae in lights that can give you cancer and stuff like that, and it was scary how people are believing this stuff, and they're grabbing onto something, and for some reason they see there's some sort of, it's because you've not been able to go to Wetherspoons to go for the curry deal on the Thursday. They've taken away your liberties, but people's families have been ripped apart by this. And there's certain Leeds fans that will talk about it as well, but some of our legends have died from COVID, and they say it's not real. I just don't. It is really, really scary. And I used to get in that. I used to get in those Twitter debates and stuff like that, but it's just not worth it anymore. I just feel sorry for them now.
A few years ago, I can't remember what it was. There was something like, it was one of these like random news stories, like oil or maybe Middle East or Iraq or something like that. And somebody was asking a footballer about it, and they were just like, why are you asking me about the war in Iraq? Like, I'm a footballer. And I feel the same way about, like, why does Matt Letizia think that he's got some special knowledge or some, it's so weird. Like, people talk about doing your own research, and that's fine. But then you look at the people that they're talking about. You actually do some research on their sources of information, and I feel like you have to be intellectually not disabled. That's not the right word. Impaired. You know, there's like an obstacle. Like you don't have a reasoning, logical part of your brain. And the problem is that back in the 90s or pre social media, you know, you'd always have one kind of crazy person down at the pub who you'd be like, oh yeah, all right, Chris, or whatever, you know, you want another beer.
You go to the bar. It's fucking hell. He's on again. He's on again.
But now there's, you know, hundreds of thousands of them, and it is a big problem because we kind of shape the way that shape the truth of our reality, right? And you've got to base it on something. You can't just question everything, because then you won't trust anything ever.
It feels like when a lot of people saying about the mainstream media. I watch the 10 o'clock news every night. I'll watch it. I don't like lose my head over why they're reporting like that. Why are they taking that angle? I just watch the news, and I just see what's happening in the world. It feels like they want to question everything. I don't understand why they want to question stuff all the time. It's like you're crossing the road. It said you can cross the road. Well, but why is it telling me to cross the road now? I don't want to cross the road now.
Yeah, but who's hacked into those traffic lights and changed it to a green man?
And that green man's moving now. It wasn't moving before. Honestly, that's how it happens. You end up going down that sort of rabbit hole, and you can't get out of it. It is scary. It is really scary.
Yeah, and I think it shows like a level of ignorance because there are journalistic ethics that you're meant to adhere to, and you do have to check to make sure that what you're saying is accurate, and you can verify it to a certain extent. So there already are those things, and it's just because so many people have a platform now to say whatever they want that then these things start to question it. But I mean, if you want to look at some of the outside influences, there's a great podcast called Puppet Master on BBC Sounds, which was Russia's attempt to spread disinformation in Ukraine specifically, but obviously they do it in other countries as well. And so there are sort of insidious hands in the pie.
There's a good podcast on BBC Sounds as well about a conspiracy theorist. When the first lockdown started, he didn't believe in COVID, didn't believe in the restrictions, and then towards the end, he got COVID. His family said, "We'll take you to go get a test." He says no because he got scared because he thought he might give the COVID to his family, and then he died alone in his house.
Was that War on Truth or?
I can't remember. I can't remember the podcast now. There's about 2 or 3 episodes in it. It's basically following this man's life, and he started off really well before it all kicked off. And he used to be on a local Facebook group where he used to take photography, and he was very, very nice in the group, saying this is a photo from this morning and stuff like that of the local area where he lived. And then all of a sudden, when the lockdown started, he went down that sort of route of posting stuff about the conspiracy theories about COVID and things like that. And he ended up getting COVID and then dying from it. And then he started to believe, actually, this is real. So it's sad when you hear those sort of stories, when people have followed that route and then they end up dying from it.
Yeah, it's bizarre, really. I mean, there were a lot of stories coming from the US. Obviously, the States tend to be crazier than we can be. They reach new levels. And
have you seen that new video? Jim Carrey retweeted it, and a presenter was interviewing someone that was a big Trump fan, and they said Joe Biden's not real. It's actors. The actors are wearing masks. When Joe Biden walked up the stairs to the plane, that was Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey's just retweeted going, "Oh dear." It's mad. Absolutely mad.
Yeah, man. And you got like Elon Musk sort of buying Twitter, and from as far as I can tell, the securities the part of the government that govern what you can do with stocks and stock manipulation, they stopped him from tweeting whatever he likes. He has to go through a lawyer before he tweets something, because you can, obviously, if you've got millions of followers, you can manipulate stock value to your benefit. Like there was one time where he wiped off so much value from Tesla, but of course then he can just buy up his own stock. And then the day after he bought Twitter, he applied to not have to go through a lawyer. But of course he was saying that it's all about free speech and everything. And I think they've been doing quite well to try and limit mis and disinformation. A few of your comments. Letitia's has gone mad, says Gail. Agree with Barney. It's very dangerous. And she also says that my brother died of COVID in December 21. And we've all been touched by those tragedies. So it's just... It's a situation where you need the government or you need regulation to come in and take certain control to make sure that we don't, end up in World War III or even worse things. But obviously they're not going to do that, especially when you've got a government who are, looking at porn and not even turning up and taking control of the Independent Electoral Commission. Just been some fun, insightful things that have happened this week with the Tories.
It's every week, isn't it?
Every week, man. Every week. It's just getting worse and worse. Musk wants to buy Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in, says Napa. A few more predictions for Man City. I think Bandy said somewhere, Leeds United 4, Blue Manchester 1. Very confident. And Bremner's Ghost, evening mate, Leeds 3, City 2, Harrison to score. That'd be good. Final thoughts then, Barney. And if you've got a thing of the week, like a recommendation, TV show or anything like that.
Oh, you know me. I've been watching Minder again. My thing. I haven't really got a thing this week. I'm a bit boring. I've been on earlies at work all week, so I've my body clock's just I can't start 7 o'clock starts. So literally by the end of the week, I'm knackered.
Yep, same. I've been on earlies as well.
Yeah, because you sent a message at 4:30 in the morning the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
I have been looking up Earthship building and permaculture this week, which has been fascinating, really. I think that, it's just climate is one of those things that we all try and ignore because it's such an enormous problem. That if you start researching about it, like my first girlfriend was studied environmental science, and so I had there's enough things to doom scroll about these days, but very, very interesting, especially as energy prices are going up by 300%, and again in October. You might want to consider some solar panels or some alternate methodology, like a masonry heater, for example, which can heat your whole house through wood instead of using gas. Right. If you like this, give us a like, subscribe to the pod, and tell your friends. Especially when you're in the urinal. You've just got your schlong out, and give a nod to the bloke next to you.
And we all do this, is where you go.
For the podcast listeners, Barney's just had a look at this fictitious person's schlong.
And then you do the old classic, I do it all the time, you get there. Oh, water's cold, isn't it?
Yeah. Roaring Peacock podcast, by the way. Give it a listen. And if you're a lady, of course, you can just shout it over the wall of the next cubicle, or while you're powdering your nose in front of the mirror. At Peacocks Roar on Twitter. Bandy, long live the Roaring Peacocks LUFC fan channel. I love the use of the full name. Thank you, Bandy. And all peacocks, aren't we? It says Bremner's Ghost. And Gail says, thanks, guys. Been fab. Take care. Night, night. Right. Nice, easy win tomorrow, please, boys.
Yep, easy.
Keep it tight in the back.